It's a very tiny gland in your neck, but it has a huge amount of power over how you look and how you feel. We're talking about your thyroid. When it's off kilter, your body doesn't get the right mix of hormones from it, and that can lead to a ton of issues, perhaps most notably weight gain, and there are a lot more. To help us understand what the thyroid does and how it is impacted by what we are eating, joining me right here is Dr. Joe Pinzone, endocrinologist from is it the Amani Medicine?
Yes, Amani
Medicine.
Amani Medical and Wellness.
In Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica, that's exactly right.
First of all, explain a little better than what I just explained about how impactful your thyroid is on your daily health.
So it is the master gland. Our brain gets signals and inputs out either through our nerves or through our hormones, and that's how we communicate with cells. And the thyroid gland controls nerves and brain. It controls heart, metabolism, and skin. And so you can imagine that you can get a variety of different symptoms based upon an over or an underactive thyroid.
And does it control your energy as well?
It does. As part of the metabolism, you can get a sense of jitteriness with an overactive thyroid and a sense of fatigue and depression with an underactive thyroid.
I just thought that was a sugar imbalance when it happens to me, or maybe too much caffeine. And that's one of your points, too, is that people don't think about the thyroid. They look at a lot of other things when they feel maybe lethargic or why they're overweight, but they don't look at the thyroid.
That's right. They often don't, and I think that as an endocrinologist and a specialist, it's really important to realize that there are 40 million Americans in the U.S. today that in their lifetime will experience thyroid problems.
All right, now let's look at what happens if you have an underactive thyroid. Is that the way to put it?
Sure. Hypothyroidism. Hypo is an underactive thyroid.
Okay, well, we'll call it when your thyroid's taking a break on you, all right?
There you go.
You have fatigue or depression. Depression can actually result from that, I guess, probably from the fatigue, right?
Yes, and also from its effects on slowing the nerves. That's exactly right.
Dry skin, brittle nails. So many people just the women take, gelatin for brittle nails.
That's exactly right. And they may be having borderline low thyroid disease. Very, very common. Millions of men and women can have that.
Why feeling cold?
So nobody really understands it, but it probably relates back to a slowing of our metabolism. So with that, there's less heat generation in the body. And so you have a sensation of feeling cold.
And then we've already talked about weight gain. That happens from a thyroid that's not behaving as well as it should. Now let's go to symptoms where you're hyperthyroid. What is it?
That's exactly right. Hyperthyroid. Overactive, producing too much thyroid hormone.
Okay, a racing heart. Now, once again, a lot of people think I just had too many cups of coffee. How do they tell the difference?
It's hard unless you get in front of the right doctor to help figure that out. And that's exactly what we do at AMI, is to help you sort out what's causing the problem.
You can't sleep?
So you get a sense of restlessness and sleeplessness. It's a sense of being jittery, like you would with too much coffee.
Same thing with too much coffee?
Yeah.
And you lose weight. As opposed to gain weight, you can't keep the weight on.
That is typically the case because, again, your metabolism is revved up and it's inefficient. You generate a lot of heat. You feel warm sometimes.
Okay.
And you lose weight.
And then finally, which goes with the hyperactivity, which is the trembling.
Right.
Let's go to the food. Now, the interesting thing I found here is that there are actually good foods for you that can hurt your thyroid. Explain that for me and tell me what these are.
Absolutely. So first, I'll point out that every food here people should be eating, and the two plates together represent a balanced diet. It's when you overeat something, and in this case, kale and cauliflower have chemicals in them that can prevent the iodine from getting into the thyroid, which is an essential component of thyroid hormone.
So are we talking about people who love to juice a lot of kale? Is that a dangerous thing? Juicing is a big deal now.
It is a big deal, and kale is a superfood, and rightly so, in moderation, in the context of a balanced diet. So the answer to your question is, can you overjuice kale? And the answer is yes.
A lot of vegetarians, they rely on soybeans for their protein.
Right. And soybeans, along with apples and onions, together have a set of different chemicals, one in each of the vegetables, that can reduce the activity of an enzyme important for production of thyroid hormone. So again, an apple a day can keep the doctor away. 50 apples a day can make your thyroid low.
So don't overbalance. And then finally, if we feel we have some of these symptoms, maybe before worrying, we can go and eat these foods a little more in abundance. What are they?
Right. So the building blocks of thyroid hormone, you see here that you have saltwater fish that is high in iodine.
Okay.
You have Brazil nuts and squash and yogurt that are high in the minerals that are important in it. And the avocado represents tyrosine, an amino acid, part of a protein, that is the building block along with the iodine that makes thyroid hormone.
Finally, doctor, if I feel that I have these symptoms and I want to try my diet first, how long will it take for these foods to take effect before I want to come see you?
Right. Well, I think the first thing to do is to come see me, but
Makes good sense.
but if we determine that you have borderline thyroid disease, high or low, what we do at MI, because we also have dietitians, personal trainers, we have life coaches, we take a very Western, holistic view and are able to educate you. And again, life is about balance and about shaping, right? You shape your life and you architect your life, and we give you the education and background to do that. And so if you have borderline thyroid disease,
try it the natural way first.
Try it the natural way first.
Because nobody wants to get on a medication you have to stay on your whole life.
That's exactly right.
Dr. Joe Pinzone, thanks very much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for educating us, too. Chris, did you know about all this?
I got a million more questions. I'll be right over.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, guys, thanks. Coming up, Facebook announces a major change. It's all about your identity.